Hey everyone! GGG had their live stream for their upcoming 3.15 expansion today, and there was quite a lot to unpack in it. I'm going to try my best to give you a quick overview of what you can expect in this expansion. And if you want more details regarding certain areas of the reveal, I'll be making separate videos covering just about every section, so keep an eye out for those. Without further ado, let's get started. First up is the new league mechanic, which is called Expedition. You will assist a group of Kalgurans in excavating their ancestors' relics and undead enemies using explosives. Players will be able to control where the explosives are placed so that they can decide what to get out of the encounter. Want more enemies? Then place more explosives around graves. Would you rather more items and less combat? Then try to place your explosives around item caches instead. Along with any new league, there are usually new items and currencies, and Expedition is no different. In Expedition, there will be different types of artifacts which are used to trade with the Kalgurans. And each Kalguran is interested in a different set of artifacts and has a unique way of trading them from you. 2 Yin will offer you items at really high prices, but you can barter with him. Be careful though, if you offer him too low of a number, he might just end the trade altogether. Brog will offer you a set of items, and if you choose to purchase one, he will try to upsell you by sweetening the deal. He does this by offering additional crafting options to the purchased item. Gwynin is a gambler. She will present you with a set of base items with unknown properties. When you purchase one of these items, you will receive a random item of that base type, which means you could get a really rare unique or just a cruddy magic item. Danik will trade you a variety of items for specific runed artifacts. Some of these include currency that lets you reroll vendor inventories, logbooks, or other Kalguran artifacts. Alongside the artifacts you'll find, you may also come across logbooks. Logbooks work much like blighted maps mixed with heists. In these encounters, you can come across hidden areas with loot and bosses. There are also a handful of unique items and base types that you can get from expeditions. The new base types offer a new type of defense called Ward, which reduces the amount of damage you take from the first hit you receive. It then goes on a 5-second cooldown, making it really good for builds that utilize block, dodge, or evasion. Next, they introduced 19 new skill and support gems. Most of these ended up being skill gems, which is pretty awesome, and should have an exciting impact on the meta in Path of Exile. When they were creating these gems, they used the 19 Ascendancy classes as inspiration, which can definitely be seen in their designs. Some of these include Earthbreaker support, which lets you link any slam skill to it and summons an ancestor totem using that skill. Storm Rain is a new bow skill that shoots arrows that stick into the ground. Lightning will then pulse between the arrows. And Eye of Winter shoots out a large projectile that fires out multiple projectiles in a spiral fashion. It's essentially Frozen Orb for anyone that's familiar with Diablo 2. I will be making a separate video covering all the new skills, so keep an eye out for that. Support gems have received a balance pass as well, so that the gems that grant large multiplicative damage increases aren't the only options that players have. Basically, all the support gems that increase your damage by a ton have been nerfed and have added downsides to using them as well. This was done to reduce the gap between good and bad support gems and to reduce overall damage output as part of a larger goal to bring challenge back to PoE. This leads us into the next topic, which is making Path of Exile more challenging. The developers realize that power creep has been a problem for quite some time, and they know that just increasing health and damage of enemies isn't the right way of balancing the game. So they will be slowly introducing challenge back into PoE using a variety of methods, like the previously mentioned balance pass to support gems. But they are also doing this by rebalancing the campaign to make it more challenging. So far, they have only been focusing on Act 1, but over time they want to make the entire campaign more difficult. I'm not entirely sure how people will react to this, because I feel like after you've played through the campaign once for a league, it just becomes an inconvenience every time afterwards, and not really something people enjoy doing. And probably the most interesting thing to come out of this expansion is the reworked Flask system. That's right, you aren't hearing things, they have finally reworked the Flask system. Most of the utility flasks and unique flasks have been rebalanced. Flasks that provide raw defense or raw power receive the largest nerfs. Some of the flasks that were underwhelming receive slight buffs. There are now 3 ways in which you can use a flask. You can continue to use them traditionally, or you can use one of the 2 new currencies that change the behavior of your flasks. The Akindling Orb adds an enchantment to a utility flask that will improve it, but it prevents it from gaining charges during its effect. And the Instilling Orb adds an enchantment to a utility flask that will cause it to be used when certain conditions are met. That's right folks, auto-flasking is finally here. Also, when flasks remove a curse, they no longer apply a period of immunity to them. And flasks that remove ailments only provide a period of immunity if they removed that specific ailment. This means no more spamming your flasks for 100% uptime on ailment immunities. Monsters now generate fewer flask charges as well. I haven't had a chance to see everyone's reaction to the new flask system yet, so I'm looking forward to seeing all the positive feedback on Reddit later. And lastly, Path of Exile's Royale mode is returning. It has received a bunch of balance changes, like having access to low-level versions of high-end skills, a whole new passive tree that's specific to that mode, and unique items that have been modified to better fit into the Royale. You can play the Battle Royale today as of the release of this video. You will be able to play over the weekend, and it will be turned on every weekend after the first week of Expedition. They will be making balance passes throughout the week, and if the game mode does well, they will add new features over the long term. I never played the original Battle Royale, so I'm looking forward to trying this one out. And that about wraps up this video. I'm interested to see what you guys thought of the reveal today, so let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, let me know by giving it a thumbs up. And be sure to subscribe for more gaming related content.